Yintah, the power of the documentary. While fictional narratives in film have the potential to make us feel, to reflect on our own lives and what is true, the documentary film goes beyond that potential and can incite action towards changing our reality. Yintah, the 2024 film documenting the lives and resistance of the Wet'suwet'en people against the BC pipeline, has such an impact and utilizes cinematic imagery not unlike narrative films to make personal connections, as well as special organizations to carry its message forward and powerful semiotics to affect the viewer in a meaningful way. These elements go together beyond the capacity of fiction to affect its audience.
Being surrounded by invaders.
In Beau Travaille, the 1999 celebrated film by Claire Denis, audiences are moved by cinematic images that feel like a slice of life in Djibouti, Africa. The natural landscape, the architecture of the existing villages, and these points of view of community life from the window of a moving vehicle feel more documentary than fiction. While Yintah displays a very different landscape, it is also allowing the viewer into a visually stunning and very real outlook of the Wet'suwet'en people, the animals they share the land with, and their proximity to the river and mountains, as well as the faces and actions of their families, their neighbors, and their community members. The difference is what comes in between these images. The story that we are invited to in northern BC.
My grandma used to tell me, bad things are going to happen down the road.
Is a tangible reality exposing current events.
Now I see it.
So that the feelings relate to our futures, instead of connecting to the past and its memories like it does in Beau Travaille. Here, where the characters are remembering a time and place, the connections available to an audience from those memories access a place in the brain where we settle deeper into our seat and let our own memories commingle with the story and wash over us in feelings of disappointment, amusement, discomfort, and pain. Through the imagery of Yintah, these same feelings may be accessed: amusement,
each and every one of us, none of us,
disappointment,
stand back and watch what's going on.
Discomfort.
I'm going to take a step back here. I will take another question now. You in the long blonde hair.
And pain.
Smell my dad. They're here with us, all of them.
However, because the catalyst is not in a memory, but in a present time, with an undetermined future, we sit up in our seats. Our discomfort seeks comfort, our pain incites outrage, and our disappointment seeks resolution. Thus, when the movie ends, we aren't limited to merely reflect on the experience, but to know that we have an opportunity to act on it. The linear film may follow a protagonist, as it does in the life of Elia Suleiman in The Time That Remains from 2009, beginning and ending with his return to Nazareth, where he grew up. The challenge for the documentary filmmaker without the fictional narrative is how to unfold these inciting images through the course of a feature film length. Yintah must utilize documentary strategies within its organization to bring the story to us in a non-fictional development. Without the use of a singular protagonist, or perhaps through a protagonist that is not human, the Yintah, the film effectively cycles through various motifs. Besides the landscapes of the river, mountains, and wildlife, there are also animated maps. Casual interviews with prominent community members, Frida
feel the beauty of this land.
and Molly.
I was gonna have like Alexis. My mother was a victim of the 60s scoop.
And news footage or social media videos that tie together the comings and goings of the Wet'suwet'en
Into
people.
white foster homes. My grandparents both went to the Lejeune Indian Residential School.
While the narrative film must satisfy audiences with the necessary elements of one character's story, Yintah can broaden its audience's exposure.
Just wait.
Here we can feel for the elder, the chief who defends his hall, shaming disloyal members of the
people that
community.
support you here, the whole Wet'suwet'en community of Wet'suwet'en, is there no shame? We do not own the land. We belong to the land.
And we can feel for the defenders at the barricade who are physically assaulted for taking a stand.
Unhook yourself.
Unhook yourself.
We can feel as well the threat that the man camps make on the women of the community.
For every industry that does pipes, they have man camps to house their people in. Criminal activity is going to increase and the women are victimized.
This is symbolized by the hanging of red dresses near signage that reads, "No man camps." Through Yintah's use of semiotics, audiences are reminded of the real dangers that threaten indigenous communities all over North America. Throughout the film, the symbol of the red dress continuously reminds us of the ever-present danger the Wet'suwet'en and neighboring communities face whenever industry sets up camp nearby. These semiotics are not limited to documentary filmmaking. In Sunset Boulevard, the 1952 film that depicts the bygone silent film actress in her desperate attempt to revitalize herself, particular semiotics point to the story's theme. Signs of the Silent Queen's trapping in the past are depicted through the winding staircase.
The dream she had clung to so desperately had enfolded her.
And eerily, the many portraits of the Silent Queen in her days of glory. These signs of her jailing in the past provide clues for audiences and are very clever devices. However, they do not necessarily translate into our everyday life. In the documentary, these recognized symbols are so in reality as well.
It's illegal! Show me what it is!
When they up in the dusty.
And always look forward like a warrior. Look forward.
Where the idea of the red dress hasn't changed, with the story of the documentary behind it, there is the possibility of an enhanced impact, enhanced by the memory of those trampled garments, making desperate pleas for the dangers of industry to stay away from these original communities. There's one other sign that is referenced throughout the film with much power. It is that of the river. The river and the land are one to the Wet'suwet'en. The fear that the river will be contaminated by the pipeline is real, and the impact that that would have on the people would be life-threatening, so that water becomes the symbol of life. Yintah is a Wet'suwet'en word. We use the word land, some say territory, but this Indigenous elders community calls it the backbone.
What do you guys call it?
Nuhnene. We call our territory Nuhnene. It means our backbone. It means our land. You can't exist without your backbone.
While fictional narratives in film have the potential to make us feel, to reflect our own lives and what is true, the documentary film, as exemplified in Yintah, carries a further potential to inspire the audience towards changing our reality. Documentary filmmakers remind us of our current existence in the world. They remind us of our own life forces and our responsibilities to them. This is the power of Yintah, the backbone, the life force, responsibility. This is the power of the documentary.
They sent us water from that river, and this is what they're fighting about: life.